Military deployments to LA will cost $134 million. Per Pentagon officials, that's how much the U.S. government is spending to send, house, and feed the 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines that President Trump ordered to Los Angeles this week amid anti-ICE protests. California Governor Gavin Newsom, who filed an emergency motion yesterday to block Trump's deployment of troops to the state, has argued California doesn't need military help to handle the protests and that its presence only increases tensions. Despite Newsom's objections, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said yesterday that the deployments will last 60 days. Trump also warned that any protesters at a planned military parade in Washington, D.C. on Saturday will be met with very big force. U.S. and China agreed to framework for reducing trade tensions. After 2 days of intense trade talks in London, the U.S. and China have agreed to a preliminary plan to implement the trade truce they reached last month in Geneva, which each side had accused the other of violating. The two largest economies in the world have reached a handshake for a framework, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said, noting that President Trump and China's President Xi Jinping must both still sign off on the agreement. Details of the deal were not immediately released, but two main sticking points going into the talks were China's withholding of rare earths and U.S. controls on tech exports to China. World Bank predicts weakest growth since the 1960s. Global economic growth this decade is on track to average 2.5%, which would be the slowest since the Andy Griffith Show dominated airwaves, according to the World Bank's latest estimates. The International Financial Group cut this year's forecast to 2.3% from 2.8% last year and 2.7% as of a January prediction. Without a swift course correction, the harm to living standards could be deep, Chief Economist Indermit Gill wrote in the report. Gill cited international discord about trade, in particular for the pessimistic outlook. The World Bank lowered forecasts for nearly 70% of economies, but notably did not yet foresee a global recession.